Hey everybody, welcome back to the show, episode 3096 of the Cabral Concept. This is the weekend edition, of course, of the show, answering 5 to 6 questions every Saturday and another 5 to 6 every Sunday. If you are looking to see if your question was asked, you can always head on over to StephenCabral.com/podcast and just type in your keyword. It will search through the 3,000 plus podcasts we've already had, and it will look up to see if your question's been answered. Now, keep in mind, it's typically 10 to 12 weeks before your question is read live on the air or live on this podcast at least. But if you're looking for same day answers, please do feel free to ask at CabralSupportGroup.com. We're always happy to help. And if it's a customer service thing about labs or products or tracking or whatever it is, just email support@equa.life and they will take great care of you. All right, let me open up the spreadsheet from the team. I know we answered some great questions yesterday, but today is a new day. So let's check it out. All right, the team has it labeled 3096. Amazing. Just want to give another shout out to my team. They do such a great job. I'm the one here on video, on podcasts, answering all the questions, but there's so many amazing individuals that are dedicated to the same cause we are all a part of, which is improving our health naturally each and every day. Not being perfect, but getting a little bit better each and every day. Sometimes not every day, but every week, every month, just striving to get that much better. All right, so let's dive right into it. First question is from Tanya. Tanya says, you mentioned a detox to lose maybe 7 pounds on the what to do first thing in the morning. What was that? All right, happy to answer that. So again, this is a great question too to ask at CabralSupportGroup.com because you wouldn't need to wait 10 to 12 weeks for me to answer this question. The amazing Michelle or Daniel or Cassie or many others inside the group would be able to help you with that. So it's called the EquaLife Detox. And if you're someone that's dealing with health issues or you want to lose 20 plus pounds, we recommend the 21 day. If you're looking to lose maybe 10 pounds and you've never done a detox before, but you don't want to commit to the 21 days, 14 day. And if you're someone that wants to lose somewhere around 5 pounds to 7 pounds, and maybe you've done a detox in the past, you're overall healthy, you just want to do that, like we do each and every quarter, even if you don't want to lose weight, it's good to do once a quarter to help reduce, empty that rain barrel, reduce a lot of toxicity in the body. That's the 7 day. You can find that at StephenCabral.com/detox. StephenCabral.com/detox. Every lab I talk about, every protocol I talk about, this is called the functional medicine detox. You can always find it at StephenCabral.com/shop. Okay. So you'll find it there. And even if you don't want to use EquaLife's functional medicine detox, on that page, you see exactly how to do it. Now, if you want to learn more about a functional medicine detox, completely free, head on over to StephenCabral.com/courses. There's a free course there on what is a functional medicine detox, how to complete one, the nutrients you need, how it works, and the effectiveness. It's one of the, it's one of the best things I've ever discovered in my practice. It really is. I didn't make it up. It's scientific-based principles. We just made it easier for people to complete with huge amounts of efficacy behind it. We've been doing this now for a long, long time, well over a decade, and hundreds of thousands of people having used the detox. Okay. Joe Lee is up next. Hello, I'm planning to start the CBO protocol soon. Is there a list of foods to avoid? I can only find lists of allowed foods. Specifically, would like to know which fruit and vegetables to avoid. Also, is coconut yogurt, kimchi, kraut, and other fermented foods allowed? Thank you. Okay, so when you purchase the CBO protocol, which stands for Candida Bacteria Optimizing Protocol, for yeast issues, gut issues, bloating, etc., it comes with a list. So you get the list and it gives you any type of protein basically you desire, about 2 dozen fruit, about 3 dozen different veggies, specific starches, specific fats, all those things. If it's not on it, don't eat it. That's the list. So because like the non-list is every food in the world, right? Like there's so many different foods. So we give you the foods. Now, if the food still doesn't agree with you, don't eat that off the list, right? There's 3 dozen different veggies, 2 dozen different fruit. If one doesn't work, you can just choose another. But no, we don't have allowed foods because you have all the allowed foods. You don't have the disallowed because there's so many. So you won't find yogurt or kimchi or kraut on there, and that's because they're fermented. And so we don't want to give you those prebiotics and probiotics in those because they feed bacteria and candida. They can. So what we want to do is reduce your candida and bacterial overgrowth And then those can start to be added back in once we pre-populated with the specific probiotics we're looking to use. So there's always a method behind the madness, and you're always welcome to ask, right? Okay, but again, you're done now. Now that you wrote in, you're completely done with the CBO protocol, most likely, because it's about 12 weeks from when you wrote in. All right. Millie's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a chronic case of what might be vaginitis, constantly itching and irritation. Not sure what it is causing it. I'm not sexually active at the present time, so I haven't been infected. This has been going on for about a year, and it hasn't gotten any better. My doctor gave me a prescription for the herpes virus. It didn't work. So do you have any idea what this may be caused from? Thank you for all you do. Millie, happy to help with this. And yes, I mean, I just think it's kind of outrageous just to be given a pharmaceutical for a virus you don't have, right? Like, that's pretty outrageous. You could test to see if herpes is active inside the body. But so I have to give you my disclaimer. I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis. But based on previous women in our practice that have itching or irritation. Now, keep in mind, vaginitis, whenever you hear itis, it just means inflammation. So it means inflammation of the vagina. That's all that it means. Okay, so now we have inflammation of the vagina. Symptoms are constant itching and irritation. So based on the amount of women we've had in our practice, it most likely or could be a fungal yeast-based overgrowth. That would be my number one, just, hey, based on these 4 sentences that you wrote in, that's what I would say that it would be. Could be, but I don't know if there's any odor or discharge or anything like that. Could be bacterial vaginosis. So now bacterial-based, not just yeast fungus. So first I would go with, probably more yeast fungal based. Now, is it gut-based? Is it coming there and then also affecting the vaginal flora? Keep in mind, your vagina has a microbiome, your skin has a microbiome, your gut, your intestines have a microbiome. And when that's off, it can allow yeast or fungus to grow. So it's important to note that. Okay, so this is what I would do. There's one lab that I would run called the Candida Metabolic and Vitamins Test. If you didn't want to run the Big Five, just run the Candida Metabolic and Vitamins Test. It's at stevencabral.com/shop. And that'll take you over there. You can just search for it. All right, now let's say you don't want to do it. Well, you might do the CBO protocol, and that's going to help rebalance the gut. Now, let's say you don't want to do anything gut-based, but if you have bloating, if you have digestive-based issues, there could be something going on. And if you don't want to test, you can go to the CBO protocol, which Jolie just asked about. Now, let's say you just think it's location-based, so vaginal-based only. It has nothing to do with the rest of the body. It's possible as well. Again, because if the pH gets more alkaline or imbalanced, it can allow yeast to grow. So what we do in that case, low level, you could just apply some coconut oil. And coconut oil is antifungal, and it can kill yeast and a small amount of bacteria. You could also add a small amount of tea tree, but I'd be careful adding tea tree vaginally. We use that typically more on fungus on toenails and parts of the scalp, etc. Okay, but then also what we can use, we use this more with bacterial vaginosis, is boric acid suppositories or capsules, and that can sometimes be helpful. And then what we'll do is we will do a Lactobacillus acidophilus suppository, which is just basically taking Lactobacillus probiotic, inserting that vaginally, and we do that basically once a day for a week. And then what it helps to do is push out a lot of the other forms of negative bacteria and repopulate the vaginal microbiome and help with yeast and fungus. So hopefully that's a start. If you start to get even a little benefit from the coconut oil, you might be on track that it might be yeast or fungal based. All right, so place to get started. Certainly not the end all be all, but I think that gets you started. All right. Charlotte's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. The Dutch National Institute for Public Health has cautioned against the use of ashwagandha. Their research has revealed potential harmful effects on liver function, as well as impacts on thyroid hormone and cortisol levels. This news has me feeling a bit concerned, especially since I've been taking 3 to 4 capsules a day. What are your thoughts on this? Thanks so much in advance, Charlotte. Okay, so I saw this. I was like, well, again, I always keep an open mind. I said, all right, ashwagandha has been used for 6,000 plus years. It's been used in Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. It's been used in the US with Native American forms of medicine. okay, all of a sudden, is it causing an issue? This is strange. Oh, okay, let me look at this. Well, turns out the Dutch National Institute for Public Health is not doing their own research. They're citing previous cases. There were 4. 2 of those cases came from one specific company, which I'm not going to throw under the bus right now because I don't know if it was their product. I don't know if it was tainted from maybe their manufacturer. I don't know what else these people were taking besides that. The 2 individuals who used this product from that company, did they go out and have 6 or 8 or more cocktails in a night and we're using this? Like, that could affect the liver as well. So I don't know. So I'm not going to disparage that company. But I think it is important to know your nutritional supplement company. And the other 2 were with people with hepatitis. And ashwagandha should not be used with people with hepatitis, right? Liver-based issues with specifically hepatitis. So I think it's important to note that. So I looked at that and I said, okay, well, there's no issues here. Like, ashwagandha has been used for a long time. It's one of the oldest herbs out there. Now, can there be an issue with everything? Yes. But let me just share with you. So I found 4 cases. Okay. Acetaminophen, which affects the liver, sends over 60,000 people a year just in the United States to the emergency room or to seek medical attention. All right. 4 that I found for 60,000. Where's the Dutch National Institute for Public Health helping their people against over-the-counter acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, right? So I get it. We want to be always safe. I'm not saying don't do your due diligence. Do your due diligence, no doubt about it. But we have to be careful here. And no, I have not seen in my practice. We use Adrenal Soothe. So I can't speak for any other brand. We use Adrenal Soothe that has ashwagandha in it, but it's a synergistic based brand. So it is, oh, and by the way, those other 2 people outside of that company were using a plethora of other herbs and nutritional supplements. So we don't actually even know if it was just ashwagandha alone. I've done tons of studies. We don't see it in our practice. I don't know too many other people who run more than the amount of labs we run. I'll tell you that. So we have the data. We would always stop something if there was anything negative that we saw. All right. Cortisol levels. Yes, it decreases cortisol levels. That's what it's supposed to do, right? It helps to modulate those. Not too low, but it definitely lowers those. But like, if someone's telling you have low cortisol levels and someone's telling you to use ashwagandha, they just may not be giving you the best advice possible. That's all. So hopefully that was helpful. I get a little fired up sometimes. 60,000 people, and that's only the people that are reported who have to seek medical attention for that's only 1 over-the-counter drug and 4 people with ashwagandha. So I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. And Charlotte, I'm not just saying you, because you're just literally calling out what the Dutch National Institute talked about. So I don't know. That's all. All right. Erica's up next. Hi, Dr. Rawl. I have a question. When I'm on my period, I notice I have more pressure, congestion, or blockages in my upper right abdomen. It almost feels like it is more blocked up, and I feel the pressure release as my stomach moves. Why do you think that is? And is there anything I could do to assist my body? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, great question. I actually have a podcast on why, because I always like to give the why, and how to relieve hormonal bloating. That, I don't know if it's going to be called that, but I don't necessarily always care about the title, but I do care about getting the information out to people. So that's what it's going to be on. So this is actually interesting that you bring this up. We see this, again, quite a number of times why women come into our practice with this. Here's when we do see it. We typically see it in the latter half of a woman's menstrual cycle. And usually we see it right around the end of their cycle, like last 5 days, or 1 to 2 days into menstruation. And let me share with you why. I'm just going to give you a quick, and then I'll do a full podcast on all of this, which my full podcasts are about 15-minute explanation versus 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. So what happens so during a female's hormonal cycle, the first 15 days, let's call it more like 12 or 13, are predicated with estrogen levels rising. All right. Around days 13 through 15 or so, we've got luteinizing hormone, we've got follicular stimulating hormone, we've got ovulation taking place. After that, estrogen begins to settle out, begins to lower a bit. Progesterone then begins to take off in the luteal phase, the second half of a woman's menstrual cycle. All right. And it does that until about days, Well, peaks probably 19, 20, or 21 on a woman who has a 28-day cycle. And then by day 25 or so, it's starting to fall, 24, 25. All right, because we do cycle mapping in our practice as well. And again, this is obviously science. Like this is how a menstrual cycle happens, right? Hormonally, day by day. So here's the issue though. As estrogen and progesterone both start to fall, there can be increased water retention, inflammation, and bloating. That's one reason, okay? Weakened digestion can be part of that, so there can be a little bit slower release, gastric release, emptying of the stomach. And that's why when you feel like your stomach moves, there's less pressure. There's less gas building up, essentially. All right. The other reason, and this would happen if you get it more days 1, let's call it 0 for day 1 of your first day of bleeding or menstruation, 2 or 3. Okay. So at that time, and even towards the very end, there is a removal of that uterine lining. And prostaglandins, inflammatory cytokines, are actually increased at that time, which can also lead to the bloating as well, especially around your stomach or uterine-based area. So those are 2 of the reasons. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I'm going to explain it a little bit better than I did right now in more depth on its own show, but hopefully this is helpful. So then if you want to improve this, what you would do is you could run the stress, mood, and metabolism test during when you feel this type of pressure. And you can actually see if it's estrogen dominance. And if it is estrogen dominance, we can use something like progesterone support and estrogen balance to increase progesterone as needed naturally. This is just herbal, and decrease estrogen by helping to remove it faster from the body. And then we can use digestive enzymes, other things as well. All right. So hopefully that's helpful. All the resources in my practice are at stephencabral.com/shop. And if you need us on a same day basis, just write into cabralsupportgroup.com. If you have an order question, write into support@equa.life. And then if you want to have me read your question live on the show, always happy to. That's stephencabral.com/askcabral. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Motivation and Mindset Monday. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.